What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with a bunch of Destiny 2 news and updates. So firstly, we do have a bunch of updates from Bungie regarding some items that they're tracking at the moment, and they've recognised feedback around drop rates for exotic class items, but also tune in for things like the Prismatic Hunter. So we get the first indications of some potential changes coming up soon. There are a handful of other bits of feedback and updates that they offer. Additionally though, we've got some new information about Episode 1 Act 2 this week, so we'll discuss some of that stuff. It also includes a leak for the exotic that we'll be getting for this episode, which of course is a new weapon. We'll give a spoiler alert there because someone's actually managed to get a little bit of gameplay that gives us more of an idea of what the weapon will look like, upgrades, and things like that. So we'll discuss that towards the end, but otherwise we've got hidden exotic perks, future content teasers, new rewards, and plenty of other items to discuss in the video today. So as always guys, I hope you enjoy this one, and if you do, a rating below really helps us out. Also get subscribed, as I'll be keeping you posted with all of the content coming down the road in the next week or so. But without further delay, let's get into it. And before we talk about episode content, firstly, Bungie have actually responded to a bunch of feedback about various elements of Final Shape and the episode content. So firstly, someone said, when are you going to fix the exotic class item drop rate? Of course, fix isn't necessarily the correct word, as Bungie probably spent a bit of time tuning that drop rate, so at the moment it is very much intentional, but the Destiny 2 team have said that they are aware of the feedback about drop rates of the highly desirable rewards, and if any changes are planned, they'll be happy to announce them in a future tweet. So obviously it isn't a confirmation that we will see a change, but at least recognition that Bungie are aware that that's a conversation going on in the community at the moment. So let us know your thoughts about that. It will be interesting to see what Bungie have in store in terms of potential changes in that discussion. But up next, Bungie also confirmed that at the moment they don't have any additional plans for kind of Glimmer transactions or material transactions at Raoul, but they are currently looking at Glimmer drop rates, as there's been some discussion about players running out of Glimmer too easily, and they say once they have more information, they'll be sure to let players know. So that's another component which is on Bungie's radar at the moment. An interesting one here, when is Prismatic Hunter being looked at, i.e. nerfed, inside of PvP? And the D2 team said they are aware of feedback around portions of the Prismatic Hunter kit in the Crucible, and they don't have exacts on tuning just yet, but they're going to have more information in a future tweet. So potentially, it sounds like this one is perhaps more on the radar than some other items we've discussed. And we do know as well that there will be a sort of mid-episode patch with some sandbox tuning, so it's a possibility that Bungie will take a first pass at some of the prismatic things there. Otherwise though, in terms of bugged master challenges for Salvation's Edge, Bungie have said they don't have a date set for the fixes to ship yet, but the team have identified underlying causes and are working on a fix, so they hope to have that one very soon. But additionally, they say they are aware of the raid memento not dropping for full master or flawless clears in the raid, and they don't have an ETA for the fix yet, but they are aware and they're working on it. So at the very least, it's good to have some recognition of those items, and we'll have to see if we get any changes announced in the near future. Next up, Bungie additionally said, for some time we've been investigating an issue where Titans and Hunters have been incorrectly receiving reputation boosts in Crucible, Vanguard, and Gambit, and starting today this issue is resolved, and all classes should correctly be earning the same amount of rep. But they add that they're planning some reputation bonus weeks for those ritual playlists in the future as a form of make good for the issue, and all classes will be included. So on reports that Warlocks were getting less XP than other classes, it actually turns out that Titans and Hunters were getting an incorrect amount of experience. Kind of a weird situation, but we're going to get more rep boosts as a result. So it is what it is, and I suppose at least all of the classes will get equal amounts of reputation moving forward. And next up, Bungie clarifies some things about episode content and the rollout, and they say, for the next episode, Revenant, each act's entire story will be available to play as it launches instead of week to week, and the goal is to give players an opportunity to play at their own pace. But they've added that they'd like to note specifically that episode Echoes will continue to have weekly story beats for Act 2 and 3. So there was a bit of confusion about what they said yesterday, as we thought that this would apply to the upcoming acts for the current episode, but we're going to have to wait until Revenant, which will drop in October, before we actually see that change. And I suppose Bungie are trying to tackle some of the feedback around time gating to an extent. For me personally, the story component doesn't really make that much of a difference in terms of the rollout, but I'm sure some players will appreciate it, and it at least gives us bigger chunks of quest progress and actual story in one go, so let us know what you think down below. Otherwise, of course, Bungie showed off some of the Echoes battlegrounds that we're going to get. It is once again a season-style activity, but it at least is going to be something different to what we've had in this first sort of chunk of echoes. And again, we'll get an additional activity which will drop in Act 3. I do really like that updated Nessus environment though that we see. Plus we got to see the rocket pistol sidearm, as well as some of the other weapons that'll drop, but the aberrant action, which is the solar rocket pistol, is undoubtedly going to be probably the most popular weapon in the entire episode, so we at least have that to look forward to getting access to next week. And we got that look at Solstice armor for the event that's going to return, I believe, in early August. So on top of getting new artifact mods and some buffs that'll be coming in the mid-season update, I feel like the one definite positive about episode content, at least at the moment, is that it does mean the game gets more updates more frequently. I agree that it hasn't sort of broken the mold or changed the format of the content, but overall it is looking like we'll get more frequent updates and a little bit more content compared to seasons. So while there are some components that are better than seasons and others which are pretty much the same as seasons, overall that does stand out as one of the positives of the episode model so far. But over time we will see how it pans out, so give us your thoughts below. Moving on though, also on the subject of the upcoming episode content, in Act 3, which won't drop until the end of August, we are going to see a new exotic weapon. Now, spoiler alerts are naturally necessary here. If you don't want to know any of the details about it, I would simply stop watching the video at this point. But there have previously been data mines about what the perks will be. We've also had a loose look at it previously. However, Bungie leaks shared right here, somebody actually managed to capture some gameplay with the weapon. Now, I do not know how this works. Obviously, there is some manipulation going on in the background that allows players to actually do this, but via the relic in the enclave and the crafting menu, we get a better look at the weapon, so we can actually see what the 3D model will appear like in the game right here. It will indeed be a void weapon apparently, and one of the things that it can do is fire these sort of wyvern blasts that we can see, so that's the void blast from Hipfire there. It's certainly a cool looking weapon. In terms of exactly what it does though, it's also been visible in the crafting menu via a glitch right here, and it comes with command frame, which fires extended range heavy caliber projectiles. There will be 4 different versions of that as an intrinsic upgrade for the exotic mission that it will drop from, and otherwise we can see things like the barrels and magazine options, and then the other trait, which is fanatical lance, and rapid final blows cause targets to explode into a pool of radiolarian fluid, and hip firing launches multiple projectiles at once in a slower moving spread pattern, then projectiles will detonate on impact. On top of that, it will have stock options as well, and so once this does become available, probably early in September realistically, obviously there will be a handful of weeks where we're going and unlocking those upgrades from the exotic mission where it drops. So once again, it's cool to get a better look at the thing. Again, I do not know how on earth players actually manipulate the game to the point where they can use the thing at least temporarily in the relic. I am, however, only reporting on what Bungie leaks have posted right here, so if you want to check out more of those details, I'll link their post and their page below. But for today, that is what we have to speak about. Give us your impressions on what Bungie have showed off for Act 2. Any thoughts you have on the potential future updates that we might be getting soon. But otherwise, if you've enjoyed the video, a rating really does help us out. Also get subscribed and I'll keep you up to date with everything related to the game moving forward. But otherwise, I appreciate you tuning in and I hope you guys have an awesome day.